So, I talked about this yesterday. Our government changed the guidance that they put out on their own website about high consequence infectious diseases. And they changed it, as you can see there, on the 21st of March. They updated it. Updated it on the 21st of March. And here it is. They say as of the 19th of March, COVID-19 is no longer considered to be a high consequence infectious disease. If COVID-19 isn't a high consequence infectious disease, I have a question. Why the hell have you shut down the entire country then? And in effect, isn't the fact that you shut down the entire country, doesn't that mean that this is a high consequence infectious disease? Because the consequence is you shut down the country. So this is really confusing for people, as you can appreciate. There's mixed messages here. And remember, this is a government and an establishment and a ruling elite that has lied to people left, right and centre all of their lives. Just recently they've lied about Syria, they've lied about the Skripals. Nobody believes a word that has been said about the Skripals. They've lied about Russiagate, saying that Trump is president because Putin's troll farm put him there. They lied about Venezuela, saying their elections are rigged, when in fact, their elections are one of the safest in the world. They lied in 2008 to say, austerity is a must. The only thing we can do is austerity and crushing austerity and make you pay for the bankers' mistakes, then have them make out like bandits for 10 years, and then have another crash like this now, and all of a sudden you're not bailing out the bankers. You're talking about bailing out the people. Why didn't you do that before? So they've lied continuously to people all their lives. You can go back even further if you want, and they lied about Iraqi WMDs and 45-minute warning, which led us into a war that cost over 1 million lives and trillions of dollars and pounds and British lives and American lives, etc. They lied going back even further, 9/11 with the Tower 7, reporting that Tower 7 had fell 20 minutes before it actually did. People know they're being lied to. People knew they were being lied to about all those things, just as they knew that they're being lied to about the incubator babies that led us into the Iraq war, just as though they knew they lied about Princess Diana, JFK. The list goes on. People don't believe the government and ruling elites bollocks anymore. So some people have just checked out. And I put it to you, a lot of people who have checked out are just disregarding the government's advice on holding gatherings at the moment. Can you blame them? Can't blame them at all. Well, of course, because people haven't been heeding the advice, and because people are still going to work because, they need to get money, and because then the train companies put on less trains, meaning the people who were going to work were going to be crammed in the trains as normal anyway, which has basically led to people demonising those people for going to work and trying to make a living and trying not to, starve to death. You can see how it's evolved into an absolute disaster. And I saw this yesterday, and honestly, this made me crazy. Despite the government's, this is West Midlands Police on Twitter, despite the government's clear instructions last night, our officers were shocked to find a group of 20 plus people ignoring the lockdown at a barbecue earlier today. If people do not listen to our advice, then we will move to enforcement. Okay, all right, these people are having a barbecue. It could be their last barbecue because they think, we're going to be locked down for 6 weeks or more. They could be thinking that. They could be thinking, I don't know, we're all depressed and isolation is bad for depressed people, so we're going to have one last thing. It could be people, it could just be idiots having a barbecue, of course. It could be anything. But the fact of the matter is, police are now going in and acting like Nazis with this shit and then bragging about it on Twitter. Look at this. Read you this article. Despite the government's clear social distancing instruction last night, our officers today found a group of 20 people. 20 people! ignoring the lockdown and tucking into a barbecue. I know. We all get told in the UK to stop at home. And what's it done for the last fucking week? It's been bloody glorious sunshine outside. Honestly, the world is so unfair. Neighbourhood officers were on patrol in Foles Hill Road, Coventry, just after 2 p.m. when they smelt food cooking and smoke rising near flats in Culworth Court. Yeah, council estate, in other words. They've rocked up to a council estate where brown people live. They were shocked to find a group of around 20 people. Shocked! To find a group of people ignoring advice from people who have been lying to them their entire adult lives, and probably their parents' entire adult lives too. Shocked. Including a toddler and people estimated to be in their 60s, freely mingling and standing shoulder to shoulder around a buffet. Like the Stasi, isn't it? Like the Savok in Iran. Our officers told the group it was unacceptable and they needed to adhere to social distancing guidelines to help slow down the spread of the coronavirus. Despite the warning, the group refused and began protesting they should be allowed to continue this barbecue. One woman shouted my children needed to eat, but could not explain why she wasn't cooking for them at home in her kitchen. Who fucking knows? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she had no gas because she's got no money. Maybe she's a whore and she didn't want anybody to know where she lived. Maybe she's homeless and she just didn't want her friends to find out. But whatever it is, her children still need to fucking eat. And look what they did. Our officers were forced to tip over the barbecue as the defiant group initially refused to leave. They've got in there these jackbooted fucking thugs, probably trained by the IDF. Yes, the IDF train our police and America's police and the French police who are cracking heads with the Gilets jaunes at the moment. Yeah, they're trained by the IDF and this is what these jackbooted thugs are doing. They didn't go in there, these police didn't. They're not trained to go in there and say, guys, yeah, I know. They've just been lying to you your whole lives, but this is serious, you know, really serious. Can you go home? I bet they weren't like that, no. They tipped over the fucking barbecue. Like bullies. In the end, our officers felt they needed to end the gathering by tipping over the barbecue and insisting the group dispersed to their homes. In the end, the officers they felt they need to end the gathering by acting like jackbooted Nazi thugs. Fixed your paragraph. It's vital everyone follows the lockdown instructions. They are essential and it will save lives. Our officers and PCSOs are those police community support officers. The ones these are the jackbooted thugs that were too thick. They were so thick they failed the exam, so they can't actually be in the police. So they actually are there, just being Gestapo with their free time. Our officers and PCSOs will be out and about in communities. Yeah, lower class communities, I'll say. Not the middle class, though, eh? Not the posh areas. You know? Not the posh areas. Just the council estates with the brown people. Huh? Our officers and PCSOs will be out and about in communities, brown communities, council communities, and speaking from a distance of 2 meters with anyone we suspect in breaching the new regulations, and if we feel like it, our jackbooted Nazi thugs trained by the IDF will come and kick over your fucking barbecue. Just to say, hey, we're in control here. We have the power. People do not listen to our advice, then we will move to enforcement, and our chief constable has vowed that we will target the most problematic behaviour. Yeah, I bet the most problematic behaviour is always from the council estates with the brown people where your police officers are constantly fucking circling, aren't they? Let me ask you this, audience. If, I don't know, Graham fucking Norton or Gary Lineker or, you know, anybody like that, high profile, Jamil, were having a barbecue last night with 19 of their friends, do you think the police would have rocked up and kicked over Graham Norton's barbecue if he refused to disperse his guests? Of course fucking not. the police would be nowhere near that neighbourhood. They're going looking for this shit. Now, the government have given them powers to act like jackbooted Nazi thugs. And guess what? The jackbooted Nazis, who have just been given permission by our government to go out and act like jackbooted Nazi thugs, are going out and they're acting like jackbooted Nazi thugs.